Welcome to Good Night Sri Lanka. It's another Friday and we're coming to you on our Facebook page on PodHub and of course on our YouTube channel. It's Gnsl on PodHub. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. The show has actually been completely stripped down today. It looks like we're playing basically musical chairs of sorts.
Yes, only the show. We too are not stripping down. Definitely not me.
So it's like I said, we're playing musical chairs. Unfortunately, as you can see, Andy and Christian are not available today. Not that they're under the weather or anything like that, but they've got other work commitments. The ones that they actually do work from between 9 and 5 has got dragged on.
Yeah, but today they're missing a very good show because we got an amazing guest. An inspirational guest, a guest that Shaq goes way back with as well, and someone who's really creating headlines, right?
I know. So Ilango Ram is of course our guest for today. And he's coming into the studio. We're going to have him on the show. He's going to be talking about the blockbuster movie which is actually in theaters right now. It's called Nelam Kulana. The Sinhala version is actually in Sri Lanka, Nelam Kulana, and he's also gone ahead and done an Indian version, a Tamil version, and that's actually also on Netflix. So if you're actually on Netflix, you can watch it. It's called Perusu. And well, the thing is, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, you're also very much into production of audio,
video-related
stuff,
things,
right?
yes.
But lots of people, when they come with movies like this, right, and if they want to basically have it in different countries, the easiest thing that they do is to dub it.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Which is cost-effective.
For sure.
But what he's done is he's actually shot the entire movie.
That's insane. I think obviously we'll obviously speak to him, and I think everyone will realize what a genius that guy is, and how much passion he has towards his craft. But Hamad keeps, every time I come on the show, Hamad has a lot of actions. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with all this. But yeah, so I think we'll find, everyone who's watching will find out what an amazing soul this guy is. I think Shaq, as you go way back with him. But let's maybe get into that during the guest spotlight. How was your weekend, Shaq?
My week?
Well, sorry, last weekend since you were not there.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
I know.
Since last weekend.
Week, since last week. Week was a bit sober, but still getting along as life has to move on, so to say. So, how was your week?
Very eventful indeed, because obviously we are, like we said last week as well, we told you guys we are moving this Gnsl studio and the PodHub studios closer to Shaq's place, like literally like about 10 feet away from his place.
Pretty much.
So pretty much, and therefore there's no excuse for Shaq to ever miss a Gnsl show now.
I hardly do miss a Gnsl show.
Well, that's true. You just only missed one. But yeah, so it's going to be great. So we've been a bit busy, everyone behind the scenes have been very busy. Our producers, Venuki and Hamad, have been extremely busy. Yes, Venuki?
Yeah, of course, extremely.
She's so busy that she also would like to make a cameo appearance, but then she's a bit busy with her texting and all of that. So yes, that's not going to happen. But it's good that we two are doing this. For some reason, it feels like a meeting, a corporate meeting.
We've never done a show together, have we?
Never. I have never. Even when you were with your radio stations, you have never interviewed me. I've never been on that, and we too have never done anything on our own platform as well.
I know.
This
is weird.
Yeah,
either you're behind the camera or I am somewhere else.
Absolutely, yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, so that's it. It was a pretty boring week. Clearly boring week with just the two of us. But it's time for us to basically move into the next segment of our show, which is Lanka Last Week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have it on the show right now. Okie dokie, rightio then, we're talking about certain interesting things that we find interesting as far as news is concerned that happened in Sri Lanka. And we'll start off with our first news item on the show. And here we go. Draft bill to recognize sign language as official communication medium. I think this is a great idea.
As an official, I'm actually not very familiar with this story. What do they mean by as an official communication medium? I mean, in what places, what instances?
I suppose that they are so having sign language which is also acceptable, so to say.
Okay.
in terms of it being an official communication medium. So you can officially communicate if you are somebody who is proficient in sign language. That is also acceptable.
So do we know whether this is acceptable in other countries
I'm
already?
sure.
I'm sure it is,
I'm sure
right?
it is.
But I mean, when you watch the local television, I mean, I don't watch much.
news.
But yeah, exactly.
The news?
news channels, they all have the
Yeah,
sign
and
language.
not only the news channel. Have you seen the parliamentary proceedings?
Oh, that's right.
Even the parliamentary proceedings,
Those
obviously.
guys are damn skilled to be doing those parliamentary proceedings with the signs, because even the guys who are talking in the parliament don't know what they're saying. So the person who's doing the signs, I don't know how they figure it
Imagine
out.
how fast you actually do it.
Yeah.
But so sign language. But the thing is, that's also an art, Azlan. In terms
Sure.
of learning sign language is definitely an art, which is again a different sort of language. If you want to communicate with somebody without necessarily opening your mouth,
True.
just to get a message across,
Yeah.
that is something that we can actually learn.
Yeah, for sure. Personally, though, for me, I tried to learn Tamil in school and I failed. I tried to learn French, I failed. So I think I'm a little too old now to learn sign language. So I shall just.
So you don't know any foreign languages?
I mean, not foreign. Obviously, I know English. I think.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, English is not foreign.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sinhala.
Okay.
Well, Sinhala, obviously. Then I speak Malay.
Yeah.
So I guess that's foreign
So
of sorts.
you can manage Tamil, no?
I can understand Tamil,
Right.
but I can't speak it very well. I mean, I know certain things that can, like when I want to flip and tell somebody off, that Tamil I know.
Yeah.
Besides that, I don't know.
I mean,
any
it's
other
also
Tamil.
very common, especially when somebody wants or learns a new language. The first thing that they actually do learn are the cuss words.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
The-
I don't know why that is.
Why is it? Well, maybe those are the easiest to learn.
Yeah, and I think for some reason it also seems not just easy. I think for some reason it also seems cooler
Yeah.
to say I can cuss in 15 languages. How many can you? Yeah, I think that's probably the only reason.
It's a given that the first thing that they do.
I was gonna say I know to cuss in even Spanish. Because when you watch Netflix,
Yeah.
right? If you watch Narcos or you watch anything to do with Pablo Escobar or anything, that's the first thing you learn, the cussing.
Yeah.
So
Anything with drug trafficking.
anything with drug trafficking, yes, absolutely.
All right, sign language we're talking about. Next one on the show. Government earns 136 billion from vehicle imports in the first 4 months.
This is my reaction to that.
It's not bad, huh?
It's crazy to me, Shaq, that people are spending so much money on vehicles. Recently, there was this guy who was down from Australia, and this guy is a multimillionaire. And I mean, I'm not talking multimillionaire in Sri Lanka. He's a multimillionaire in Australia.
Wow, okay.
He's a Sri Lankan guy. I'm not going to mention his name. So he was like, it's crazy to me how lots of Sri Lankans are spending more money on their vehicles than on their house.
True.
And I guess in a way it's actually an investment if you think about it, because just like with real estate, even vehicles in Sri Lanka are never really depreciating, are they?
Yeah, well, now.
Yeah.
Now.
No, but I've never, Shaq, sold any of the vehicles that I bought. I've never sold it at a loss. Okay, not in accounting terms, yes, with the time value of money, forget about that. I'm saying just if I bought a vehicle for 4 million or 5 million many years ago, I was able to always sell it for 5.5 or 6
Oh,
million.
really?
I have never sold a single vehicle at a
Wow,
loss.
they're lucky.
Right? No, I'll tell you why. That's because all this time I have been buying Japanese vehicles.
All
Unlike you, my friend, who drives an Audi, and those bloody things in Sri Lanka, they depreciate. Before selling also they depreciate.
No, mostly, I mean, especially when you buy a new vehicle, the moment, especially if it's a brand new vehicle, the moment you register, it depreciates.
True.
It just basically goes down.
True.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, these days vehicle prices are ridiculous.
Yeah, and the thing is, what people don't realize is that actually, again, I think we had this conversation on a day that you were not there, Shaq. Hang on, Shaq, I've covered for you twice. You said you didn't come once. I just realized.
No, I didn't
Such
say.
a lie.
I said I come most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah. So the first time that you were not on the show, we had this conversation where we're talking about how people tend to feel, I mean, that's just how society and how media and everyone's, portrayed that you need to have this type of a house, you need to have this type of a vehicle.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, then you have not achieved anything in life. These things are really pushing people into further debt. Who is benefiting from this? Leasing companies, banks, and by this headline, clearly the government.
That's true.
Because everyone's trying to lead this absolute bullcrap lifestyle that they cannot afford. 139 billion in 4 months, Shaq.
It's crazy.
That's mad.
139 billion rupees of imports. That's basically the money gone out.
Absolutely, that's insane, and on vehicles.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is unfortunate that like you said, the way that they live, the way the house has to be,
For sure.
what type of vehicles that you drive. It's we unfortunately are living in this bubble that we need to actually show a status symbol.
For sure,
right?
And lots of people. I mean, if you have the money, by all means, I mean, go for it.
Go for
That's
it.
amazing. If you have extra money, please give me also. I don't know whether he also wants, but please feel free to give. But in general, I'm just saying, like, getting these big leases, and then you're paying a whole bunch of interest on that. Then because you're paying that, then you start busting your credit card to pay out those things.
Yeah.
Then you're sacrificing someone else's, like some people I know, this is hilarious, but I know a certain individual, again, not to mention names, they sacrifice on their food. Although I also can afford to sacrifice a bit of food.
For what? I mean, they're
they're sacrificing on not me, this individual. They sacrifice on, entertainment and, on food and everything else. They're very frugal about those things. And that's good, being frugal. But all in order to fund this big purchase of this vehicle.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
So it's insane to me how this happens.
Crazy,
Anyway.
that's crazy. Anyways, that's the unfortunate situation that we are in Sri Lanka right now. We spend more money on our vehicles that we do than taking care of our family.
Absolutely.
Next one on the show. World Bank identifies Sri Lanka as too hot for people to work 6 hours a day.
Too hot. Too hot to work.
Unfortunately, yeah. I think the World Bank is really onto something there.
No, absolutely. I'll tell you this. Okay, it's an interesting story, Shaq. Many years ago, my God, I'm 41 now. So 23 years ago, when I was working at a big bank, a foreign bank. I don't want to mention names here. So this is before I went to uni. I was 18. I was playing in a rock band. So obviously, there was a bit of this stigma that any idea that comes out of Azlan's mouth is a rock concert idea or a party idea. Okay, but it wasn't. I suggested to this manager saying, why do we not let our back office staff come to work in t-shirt and just slacks, like relax,
right,
so that they don't have to suffer through the heat or during their commute, as well as, yes, you may be in air conditioning, but if the air conditioning is at 25, I'm just saying, you still feel the heat, right, in Sri Lanka. If you're wearing a tie and your neck is as fat as mine and that bloody tie also won't fit properly and you're getting suffocated and gagged in your throat, you can't breathe anymore. You can't work and have a very productive work life, right? So I said, why don't we get these guys, at least the back office guys who don't meet clients, let them come casually. I still remember to this day how everyone laughed. They go, ha ha ha, Azlan, he's trying to make the bank also a rock concert, right? But the reality is, honestly, that's why you see IT companies, people moving into that. In a country like Sri Lanka, where we are having so much humidity and the temperature is now clearly, officially recognized as too hot to work.
Yeah.
Why are we working with shirts? I see these insurance guys, sales guys, Shaq, walking around trying to sell some mop.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell a mop.
Yeah, in a tie.
In a tie.
Yeah, I know.
Wearing a shirt and those poor fellows.
I know.
Right, and they come to your door and some of us, I'm not talking about me, some of us go, යන්න මේ මට මේ වෙන වැඩ තියෙනවා ඒකට බනිනවා.
But the thing is this, right? This is something that I remember speaking about this, obviously, when I was at the radio station also. I mean, we used to come to work in ties, right? I mean, we're on radio. We used to come to work in ties. Understandable, some of us obviously have to go out, meet clients and meet agencies. But there are a lot of people who actually 75% of the people who work in a media station don't leave the station.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Either they are basically, working at back end as far as the back offices are concerned, or they're in the production, things like that. But there was a situation that there was like an office attire, in ties.
But the thing is this, right? We've come into a time where in 2025, some of the most brilliant ideas are outsourced to artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Right? That artificial intelligence is not wearing a tie or a shirt or doing anything. It's just a thing that's there. So my what I'm going to say here is, why do we therefore think that brilliant ideas, or ideas can only be communicated from one party to another party. If you are wearing a tie and shirt, then it makes sense. If you're not wearing a tie and shirt, your opinion or your ideas are...
It's a Yako idea.
Yeah, it's a Yako idea. Pissu. Absolute
again,
poop.
this goes back to what we were talking about, the status symbol situation.
Exactly.
Right? So if you have somebody who can basically, is wearing a nice white shirt and a nice looking tie and really, looking very smart, who comes up with a great idea, everyone's going to give that person a round of applause purely because of the fact the way he was dressed. Now, if someone is out there wearing just a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, right, and comes up with a great idea, and they were like, let's think twice about it. But here's the thing. In today's world, everybody out there who's actually wearing just a normal t-shirt and a pair of jeans, right, are the guys who are owning the individuals who are wearing shirts and ties out there.
Absolutely. I was going to say this, our dear friend from WSO2.
Right.
I remember the conversation that you remember when he came for one of our podcasts,
Sanjeeva,
right?
Yeah.
The guy is the most chilled out guy running this massive company, and just in t-shirt wearing his little those what do you call those little plaster thingies, Hamad? You should know since you're a big sportsman.
Yeah.
Hamad is thinking about it. While Hamad thinks about it, the point is that they're so relaxed. All like Shaq just said, all the guys, and not just guys in the IT field, guys in so many different industries, in various industries, are more relaxed. These are the guys who come up with the ideas, who take the risks, who build companies, who build brands. So what is this nonsense that the corporate Sri Lanka still has? Especially I see, as you know, I have a court case going on for some things that we don't want to talk about here. But every time I go to the commercial high court for this court case, I see all the lawyers. I can't
have to.
Yeah, I know.
They have to.
What I'm going to say is, so they have to, because that's just the way the system works, right? They have to wear that bloody black coat, they have to wear the shirt and the tie. Machan, they are bloody sweating their butts off there. They are like sweating their butts off because, and to be honest with you, you as a client, you might not be represented as well as the lawyers should, because if the lawyer is a bugger who is very tired and he's perspiring, he's like, oh my God, I can't do this crap anymore, right? This is the reality. If it's in such a hot country like ours, mashallah, it makes no sense. The Britishers, those buggers came here, they are the ones who got our people to dress up in all these, cover yourself, wear shirt and tie, and women wear these dresses and all. Now those buggers in their cold country, they are stripping and our people are still covered.
I still remember when I was small, when he used to travel, my dad always used to tell me, when you're traveling, make sure that you're traveling very smart. So then every time he used to travel Azlan, he used to be in full suit.
Wow,
yeah, exactly.
Are you serious?
He used to be in full suit. So I remember asking him, I said, why? Why are you traveling in full suit? He said, if you're traveling in full suit, they actually, pay attention to you. Now, if you're traveling in a pair of a pair of shorts and slippers, they really are not going to take two hoots about you.
But Shaq, the thing is, again, that's your dad's era.
No, I'm not saying do it, because I don't do it.
Exactly.
No, that's the wrong idea.
What I'm saying. Yeah,
that's the mentality of that generation.
Exactly.
So
now things are changing, and it's really time to change. And things like this, when you see things like this, now as you know, in France, working on weekends is, I think, illegal.
Yeah.
And many countries, like I think even Finland is now making in a 4-day work week. In certain industries. I mean, obviously not in hospitality and in medicine and whatever, or in podcasting and media, just saying to everybody there.
Yeah, but we're not in Finland, no, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. We're not in Finland, it's okay. But you can't work. It's very tiresome. A lot of people, they travel by train, they're traveling by bus, they're traveling for 2 hours in very uncomfortable buses and very uncomfortable trains, wearing these shirts. We have to think practically, we have to think smart. And now with our Sahodaya culture in the government and all, I hope maybe there's a change.
Honestly, I really don't think that we should actually push for ties. I don't think officers really out there should push for ties.
For sure.
I don't think they should be wearing ties at the end of the day. You don't want this noose around your neck on a daily basis. And
you've got your employer's noose anyway, so you don't need the tie.
I mean, unless you are in a position, still even if you're in a position to go out and talk to somebody, today you look at a lot of people, the younger generation are not getting into ties.
For sure.
We will come to a point, right? We will come to a point that the current generation that is still in high school, getting into a time that they actually need to go to work, will not know how to tie a knot.
Absolutely, for sure.
They wouldn't know because they don't need to wear it and they don't want to wear it. Anyway, let's move on to the next one on the show. Western Province Office face mask circular withdrawn. Now this was actually out there, and with a whole scenario was actually withdrawn. I went to a bank just a couple of days ago, and went into like the back end of the bank, which I had to meet a few people. Every single person at the bank,
oh my God,
was wearing a face mask.
That's the other thing. That's the other tie and noose there. People don't realize this face mask is, first of all, there are people who are profiteering from this.
Of course.
As you know, I was also consulting for a very, I'm not going to mention names. I say a lot of things without mentioning names, really. I was consulting for this company, a medical equipment company that brings down things like face masks and all this PPE and all that. Just to tell you, there was a lot of money made during COVID, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the thing is this, right? These masks that you wear, you don't realize it affects your respiratory system in negative ways. You may be fighting a potential COVID thing which is there or not there, but you're actually creating lots of other problems for yourself. Because I remember those days during COVID, people running on the street, Shaq, actually jogging, wearing masks.
On. That's crazy.
That is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you working with a mask continuously, unless you're a surgeon or you're a nurse or someone who is in the vicinity of someone who has some sort of deadly virus or pathogen or something going on. Don't make this a habit. I mean, be safe. Like wash your hands. Be clear. If everyone does the basic stuff like that, we should be fine. And
wash your hands on a daily basis.
Don't
just wait for a disease
not
to
just
come
on daily, on an hourly even. That's fine.
I mean, make sure that's a habit.
Yeah.
Right? Don't wait for media to come and say wash your hands. I mean, how pathetic are we?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? For a campaign, for people to spend money on a campaign, right, where we need to sit down and look at the TV or listen to the radio and say, please wash your hands. That is something we're supposed to do.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys. I don't know if anybody in the studios is the same, but I know a lot of guys, when we use public washrooms, I know a lot of guys tend to not wash their hands, and then it makes things awkward for like.
Are you going to name those guys?
I'm not going to name even them. I won't name. I know a lot of guys who
name someone.
I know a lot of guys who I've met even at World Trade Center. When I'm walking in and they go, just after their session, they're like, hey, Machan, hi. And they're giving me their hand to shake. And I'm like, dude, what's going on here? I mean, we're close. We're not that close.
Did you wash your hands?
Yeah, please wash your hand, Machan.
Anyway, that seems to be the situation. There are lots of companies are starting to send circulars out to ensure that people, their office or their employees start wearing masks.
No, but that's withdrawn now.
No, that is withdrawn.
Yeah,
The Gazette is withdrawn.
Okay.
Right, the circular is withdrawn, but then companies have decided to do it on their own with all these alarm bells ringing about at the moment. Next one on the show, what do we have? Sri Lanka's newly acquired Airbus A330-200 arrives in Colombo.
Isn't this company running at a loss?
Yeah, big fanfare yesterday. There's a big fanfare yesterday with, and then of course there was the aircraft was flying low around Colombo.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just a show off.
Because the new Airbus.
Yeah, the new show off the Airbus and around Colombo, and then of course you see everybody basically looking up and taking pictures as if they've never seen a flight before.
Never seen a plane. Oh, right.
So,
okay, I'm going to ask you this question, Shaq. Obviously, none of us are in the aviation industry as yet.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you, do you think a country like Sri Lanka, yes, we make our Sri Lankan engineering and Sri Lankan catering and all, those divisions make money. But our airline itself is running at huge losses, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you think Sri Lankan Airlines
needed another aircraft?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Have they? I don't know because I've not followed this story. Have they given a rationale for the reason for this purchase?
No, they haven't.
Besides someone getting a commission or something?
I don't know, but they've just said that it has been bought on favorable terms. Nobody knows what those terms are.
What the terms are.
Nobody knows what the
terms are. And favorable to whom?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question.
It's a good one. Favorable to whom? But yeah, there was a big fanfare about this Airbus landing and landing at Katunayaka, and the hue and cry about this anyway. But at the end of the day, this is what is this. This is the aircraft, or this is the airline that's actually taking Sri Lanka to the world. So let's see how far we can actually go ahead with it and see if we can actually, fly on time next time. All right, next one on the show. New metro bus unit to modernize urban transport.
Fantastic.
I saw a couple of pictures of these buses, but it's really nice when these buses are new. Right? Take a picture of these buses in about 2 months.
Yeah, but that's not the fault of the government
No,
or the
that's
bus
not.
guys.
That's the people.
That's the people. That's our people. අපේ මිනිස්සු ඉතින් අර නෙළුම් කුළුණ්ඩත් ගිහිල්ලා ඉතින් අඳිනවා, කුරුට දානවා. Ex-girlfriend ගේ නම ලියනවා.
Was here.
Yeah, was here. Next girlfriend ගේ නම
AZ
ලියනවා.
was here.
Yeah. Please. Please guys, don't vandalize, don't do these things. At the end of the day, this is your tax money at work,
for sure,
right?
for sure. And you're destroying it yourself.
You're destroying yourself.
And then you're even paying the tax.
Absolutely.
So that's a different story.
Yeah, true. And the thing is, okay, but these buses, have you? I don't know if you've ever taken the bus trip from Colombo to Gnsl, Shaq.
No, I haven't.
Right. So I've recently got into this thing where
the intercity.
It's the highway bus. The highway bus. So my girlfriend introduced me to this thing, right? She being 25, she finds these things very interesting. So I actually took the bus and I was like, hey, this is actually really easy, much easier than driving there.
Yeah, true.
Right? And obviously, since we go to Gnsl and we stay there for like about a week or so, it's sometimes difficult to find car park and all these things. So the last 2 times that I went to Gnsl, I've been taking this highway bus. And that highway bus is super clean.
Where do you take the bus from?
From this bus stand near Kottava.
Right, okay.
I can't remember the name of that.
Kottava bus stand.
Nah, Machan. It's not. There's a name for it. How about put that name on screen?
Kottava bus stand.
At some point.
Right.
I can't remember the name of the bus stand, but it's this.
Kottava highway bus stand. Can't be anything more fancier than that.
No, but there's a name for it. And lots of.
Accurate, actually.
Sorry?
He's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Kottava highway bus stand, right?
What's the name?
It can't be
No, it's not. There's a
Come
name.
on.
There's a name. I just can't remember the name right now.
Oh, gosh.
But what I'm going to say is those buses have been around for a while, and lots of tourists and locals travel on that. And those buses are very clean. Nothing being drawn on that. And
That's good.
Yeah. So there is hope for these buses as well.
Yeah. But the other thing, right? Obviously, both of us have driven on the highway quite a bit, right? But do you realize the fact that when you get on the highway, right, automatically your driving sense becomes a bit more, what's the right word?
More disciplined.
More disciplined? Because clearly you're not going to, if you want to overtake that person, you either flash the light, right? And then you overtake the person on the right side, and then you basically come back to the left side. All that happens on the highway. Do you even think of the same driver doing that on a Gnsl road? Right?
For sure.
It just doesn't work, does it?
Absolutely. Actually, that's true. But
you automatically become a different driver when you get on the highway.
But for me, I can't remember this because ever since 2022, I have become an extremely slow driver. Because once the economic crisis hit this country and there was no fuel, I started going at 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers per hour, and that became my norm. And that has become my norm now. So I can't really remember earlier if I was, I probably was, but I've always been a guy, Shaq. This is not just for the camera, I'm just being honest. I've always been a guy, even when I was urban running as well, I would put the signal. I mean, obviously there might be times where I forget it. I would put the signal and then I would toot the horn. I would not overtake from the left. I would generally do that. But if somebody else did that, I would bloody all those languages, I would be cussing.
No, but as I'm saying, it's really funny when obviously drivers automatically sort of download the highway manual when they get on the highway.
but the thing is, the reason why I'm not 100% with you on that is because I know I put that thing on the car on speed on cruise control, and I'm going at 99 or 100.
Yeah.
I can tell you there are Marutis going faster than me, there are Altos going faster than me. So that means those buggers are not sticking to the rules.
That's
they might be putting their right signal and they might be going, okay, time to go right. But they are over the speed limit.
But do you know, right? You need to be on the speed limit only when there is a sign that states the speed limit.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Why do you think, Azlan, where at certain points they say 80?
Yeah. No. That's because at 80 they want you to slow down because there's a bend or there is something else happening. You can't. How they catch you if they don't catch you on their I forgot what that speed gun thing.
Yeah.
How they catch you is much they look at the total time that you've taken to finish that journey.
Yeah, no, they do that, and of course they also have cameras basically all over.
Yeah,
but the thing is this: you are to go in that speed when you know that actually is as shown to you.
That's interesting. Comment section.
A friend of mine actually argued.
Was it a lawyer? Is it a lawyer who told you?
No, a friend of mine actually argued with the policeman, right, at that point where obviously he was gunned down. Wrong terminology. Wrong terminology. He was speed gunned down. Right, at a point where it didn't indicate that it was 100. Right, so there was
I guess maybe there is a bit.
There is.
That's a good point. But I think, in general, you're supposed to stick to the 100.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Because in that case, if according to your friend, that means every like 40 meters or 50 meters there has to be.
I mean, think about it. If everybody basically is sticking to 100, everyone's going to be basically driving the same speed at the same time, which is not possible. Just like you said, you're driving at 99, and a Maruti is actually overtaking you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think they allow you to at a point of overtaking for you to speed up, but then thereafter the understand. Actually, you know what? Maybe our next guest should be traffic or OIC or someone. Get them and ask all these questions.
Go through all approvals before you get somebody like that. All right, next one on the show. Government to take the next decision on COVID-19 based on number of cases reported, according to Minister Nalinda. I'm going to let Azlan talk about this.
Yeah. Again, I will say this again, guys. Don't freak out for no reason. Okay, COVID. Get your immune system right. Make sure you eat healthy. Clearly, I don't eat healthy. I'm not a very healthy person, but I got COVID twice, and I haven't got a single vaccine. So saying this once again, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I haven't got a single vaccine. I was not forced to take these vaccines. COVID is. If your immune system is right, you can fight any disease. Well, not any disease, but you can definitely fight COVID. However, if you do have respiratory issues and you have breathing issues, whether it's COVID or anything, it's going to have a massive impact on you. Shaq, actually, last the 2 occasions I got COVID, the only thing that I saw was different was that my palate was gone. My entire taste buds were gone for like about 2 weeks, which is not the usual when it comes to a normal viral flu that you have. But besides that, it was all the same symptoms. Don't freak out for no reason. And because, again, I'll tell you this, I said this on the previous show as well. Remember, big companies like Pfizer and Big Pharma, these are the guys who are making the absolute crazy money by instilling fear. They buy the media, they buy everybody else to keep putting fear into you. COVID-19 is going to kill you. COVID-19 is going to drown you. And then in the end, you're just buying unnecessary masks. You're buying unnecessary medication.
I saw the show last week when you were talking about this, right? But the world was put in a situation where you couldn't actually survive or do normal day-to-day stuff if you did not get yourself a vaccine.
That just shows you the level of control that this big pharma has.
True.
Just absolutely showed you, because they like I said, if you watch the show, you realize I spoke about these words, the wise words from John Mayer. When you own the information, you can bend it all you want.
Yeah, true. Yep.
Just for your benefit. So guys, just don't fall into this trap. Be like Shaq said, wash your hands regularly, daily, hourly, or whatever. Just be safe in your surroundings. Don't go crazy. COVID or any of these viruses are things that you can fight with a good immune system. First thing, the best thing to do is stop eating all that very fast food and junk food and stuff. Keep your immune system in good shape and you'll be fine.
That's the end of us getting any fast food sponsor on the show. Thanks for that one. Right, shall we move on to the next story? A cardiologist's perspective on growing crisis. Then this is Dr. Gotabia Ranasinger. He's a very popular cardiologist.
Absolutely. So he was also the cardiologist for one of my relatives, who you also know.
Oh,
yes.
Are we not going to name the person also?
We're not going to name him also.
You're not naming anybody on this.
We're not naming anyone. Yeah, these all could be just imposters.
What a nonsense show this
anonymous,
is.
Anonymous people. But we did name Dr. Gotabia. He's a very reputed cardiologist, and that's true. So that's why even me, like I told you, I have taken drastic measures in changing my health, because I am overweight as well. And it's crazy because my dad died of cardiac arrest at 52.
Wow.
Back then, Machan, 52 was considered
Old.
No.
Young.
Was considered young to have cardiac arrest. I'm talking 1999.
Yeah.
Now, Machan, now it's like now that 52 has become like 40, 38.
Yeah, I know. It's very sad. It's that there are young adults out there who are in their 30s, early 40s, unfortunately having heart attacks.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's a lot to do with the consumption of the food. I will not name
And
names.
lifestyle.
And the stress. It's work stress, family
yeah.
stress, wife stress, husband stress, and all these other things like the stress of trying to buy a vehicle you can't afford.
No, it's true.
Yeah,
It's
all
true.
that because one of the biggest issues is your mental. It's your mental stress.
Yeah.
That results in your. I mean, I can tell you, I have severe gastritis. Now we're going to something else.
Yeah.
I am a severe gastric patient. I know so many people nowadays, young guys who are 17, 18 years old, they're having the same issues that I have. And how is that possible? It's obviously our diet.
Yeah.
It's the food that we consume. It's the oil in the food that we consume.
It's a unfortunately, it's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
Because more often than not, we are pushed to work harder than we're supposed to. Because of that, we do not have the time to consume food, what we're supposed to consume.
True.
So we have short snacks along the way. Those snacks are not healthy. Those snacks obviously are, it just fills your stomach, doesn't really actually give you the proteins, the nutrition it requires to.
Yeah.
And then it's that cycle again, over and over again, So that's unfortunately one of the reasons. And then zero exercises,
yeah.
right?
But there's an interesting meme. I keep sharing this with all my super fit friends, where they go all these like people like Colonel Sanders, KFC, how he died at some 80 or 90 or 90, and then all these other guys who have come up with all the most unhealthy things, they died really late, whereas all these super fit guys have died in their 40s and 30s. So I mean, it is funny, but it's not always true. But I think it's good to have a balance, because even over exercising and overdoing fitness also can affect you negatively. But like Shaq said, I think it's about getting that balance right. And clearly, I'm not the example here. He's more of the example for balance, although he has his own vices as well. Yes,
no
maybe,
balance.
Yeah,
balance.
maybe in the comment section, guess Shaq's vices. But I think guys just have a balanced life. I think that's the most important thing. And Dr. Gotabaya crying this, not crying this, putting out this morning is actually a very good thing.
It's very, very important,
Yeah,
and
very
it's timely also, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. Okay, next one. What's your? Oh, we're done.
We're done. He already said we're done.
Oh,
That's why I was going on about this.
Oh, we're done. We're done.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, for being a part of the show. And
No, not thank you. We have a guest.
we have a guest. We have a guest. Oh, I completely forgot. We have a guest coming up on the
Yes.
show.
Just because Andy and Chrys is not there, we have a very special guest who takes their place and is going to bring so much more light to this studio.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have a guest, like Azlan said, and he is a phenomenal director with a blockbuster movie that's actually in cinemas right now, and it's called Nelum Kulana, and it's Ilango Ram who's coming up on the show right here on GNSL right after this break. Rightio, it's time for us to get into the guest section as far as the show is concerned on GNSL. And we're speaking to a phenomenal artistic director in the studio. Ilango Ram is in the studio with us. We're quite lucky we actually managed to get him in the studio, because he's a sort of a jet setter, because more often than not he spends most of his time out of Sri Lanka than he's actually in Sri Lanka. But we're going to talk about that fabulous movie which is actually in cinemas right now. It's called Nelum Kulana. In Sinhala, it's called Perusu in Tamil. He's actually made it into Netflix, and we're going to be talking about that movie. Welcome to the show, Ilango.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
So now I've seen some of the other interviews that you've done as far as this movie is concerned. They're very serious. Those interviews are very serious, right?
Okay.
Now this one is going to be far from
Nothing
serious.
like that, yes.
Nothing like that. It's a very casual conversation, so you can chill, you can relax, and we're going to basically have a chat about this movie. I know there are a lot of people who have actually gone to see this movie. I personally have seen the Tamil version of it. My co-host, unfortunately, she's not here. She actually went and saw the Sinhala one, and she loved it. Azlan, of course, has to go and see the
He's
Sinhala
planning
one.
to go and see it.
He's
Yeah,
going to
for
go and
sure.
see the Sinhala one.
I'll
But-
watch both actually.
Yeah, you both? What do you mean? Tamil one also you're going to watch?
Why not?
Really? Okay.
Of course,
with
I would watch
subtitles.
it. With subtitles.
yeah.
Hell yes, of course.
So, Ilango, now let's talk about the movie itself, right? When did you or how did you get the inspiration for this movie?
So initially I was writing something very serious
Right.
about a mother looking for a missing son, something very dark and very serious one. So then I thought I needed more time to write that one or work on that project. So then suddenly I thought I want to make something very simple and quick, very soon. Then suddenly I came out with this idea. There's no like an inspiration or nothing like that.
Right.
So this sudden image came, what if someone dies like this? Then so the whole script came quickly, like, so that's how we got into.
When was it? How many years ago was it?
I wrote the script in 2018-19.
Okay.
So we shot the film in 22, I think.
Oh
Wow. Okay. Right. All right. But the thing is, I mean, you're one of those lucky individuals where the idea immediately came to you, because not many people actually have that luck, because they actually sit on an idea. Sometimes they go through, I suppose, what do you call it as? Writer's block.
Writer's block.
Yeah, right. I mean, Azlan's obviously a producer, an audio producer, and plus he's also very much into movies and producing movies. And
Not
commercials.
movies, into commercials.
Yeah, I try to
Thank
lift you up a bit,
I'm
but
not
that
an,
doesn't
I'm an audio guy, but who dabbles with TV commercials as well, but not anywhere in the league of Ilango here.
Right.
But Ilango, since Shaq was also asking you a couple of things, like, how did this, like, I know you said you were thinking about something not too serious, you were trying to do something serious, but this is, Mashan, there is not serious, and then there is this.
Yeah.
Like, this is the other extreme.
Yeah.
Like, my like honest to God question is, did you, like, were you, was there any inspiration from some movie you saw, or for some experience from some relative that you know, who you probably suspected this is what they're doing? Is there something there?
Not really, because I envy like the writers, the one who write comedies, like, you know, from Friends to Big Bang Theory, like,
Okay.
like, always like, because I'm very good at writing something very serious or very political, so I'm very bad in writing comedies.
Well, clearly not.
Yeah.
Clearly you're wrong.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
So I want to experiment and put myself into that position, whether I can, like, you know, because that's not my comfort zone.
Right.
So I thought, like, okay, fine. What if? But again, if you see Nelankulana, it is, though it's a dark comedy, and if you see the whole plot is funny, but the people there, for them, is very serious. They do everything very,
Love
you know,
it.
because it's a big problem for them.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's, though it's my comfort, not my comfort zone, I was traveling in that side also, like the
Right.
serious side. So that is the reason. So again, so I want to experiment, or I want to, like, see whether I can do things which I'm not comfortable, or so it worked out well.
Now you basically had the whole idea as far as the Sinhala movie came
Yes.
about, right? At which point did you realize that this has the potential to actually go into multiple languages? And you started with Tamil,
Yes.
I suppose, right after that.
Because before we shot the film traveled on to different festivals on the scripting level,
Right.
for pre-production markets, and it was selected in Goa Film Bazaar. It's a co-production market.
Right.
on the scripting level. So there was a huge buzz from different part of the world. They want to like make this film in their country, or even in India. There are a lot of big studios came to buy the script.
Right.
So they want to do their making me as a director. They want me to direct the film, but it should come as a Indian film or any other countries.
Right.
But luckily, my producer, Irani, my wife, she said no. We are doing it in Sri Lanka. We need investors to do here, not to do it in other languages. So
Right.
that's a smart decision, because so that's the point we realized that, okay, this film has the potential, or got the potential, because the idea is very unique.
Yeah.
And it's very universal.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so everyone loved it, even at different film bazaars and film markets. Everyone were like totally into it. Like, okay, we'll do it. Then we thought, okay, we shouldn't do in any other languages. First, we'll start in Sri Lanka, because it's nice to have a film in Sri Lanka like this,
Right.
than in other countries. So, so that decision was good by her, and then we made it in Sri Lanka.
So when you pitch this to investors in
Yes.
the first stage, did these investors see the potential, and did you yourself see the potential commercially? Because obviously the movie has done really well. We'll probably get into that as well in terms of how well it's doing in the cinemas locally and overseas. But did you see a potential commercially, or was it for you just purely artistic and just a story that was so unique and different for a Sri Lankan movie or for a Tamil movie?
Very nice, interesting question. So because I always think this plot is very unique, and I know audience, like even in Sri Lanka or India, wherever you go, they want something different. Like we all we want to watch something different,
Right.
and good. So I never underestimate audience. I always believe, because I don't generally categorize also like a director and an audience is like two different things. No, we all same.
Right.
We want to watch something unique and good and something interesting. So in that way, this plot easily fit into that. Coming to a question again, whether it is artistic or commercial, while making, I was very much into this artistic vision, like want to make a standard film, like
Right.
didn't think of the commercial potential, but we know, personally myself, I know the audience will receive well, but not to this extreme to become the biggest blockbuster ever.
Right.
So we made, like as you said, want to make in an artistic way a good film, and that should travel to a lot of festivals. That's our main aim. Instead of thinking whether this film is going to work in the or among the audience, or whether it will be the big blockbuster, we didn't think in that way.
Right.
But we had this hope, this film has that potential because of the potential. We got selected into various film bazaars and film markets, and there were like a lot of big companies, they wanted this film to do in their own language. So then we know this has that market to the
to those regions
We
also
know also.
potentially. So Ilango, I want to basically find out now the idea of actually coming out and producing a Sinhala movie, right? In the last few years or so, the Sinhala movie industry has been struggling, right?
Yes.
And even though there are a lot of people out there who spend a lot of money coming up with movies, not many people actually go to watch a movie. And even if the movie is released, it doesn't run as long as you hope it to run, and of course you don't necessarily get your money back either. What was that sort of looming in your head? Will your movie do well in Sri Lanka, especially with the industry struggling at the moment? Was there a risk that you thought you might as well take?
In this field, we have to take risk,
Right.
to prove yourself. So we thought, again, I believed in audience, like because they always say in Sri Lanka, in the industry, you must be knowing those, like filmmaker kaduana kawurut balanna, no.
Yeah.
Like,
Kawurut
it's point
yanna
yanna
balanna.
ki say, so, but I had this hope, no, if you give a good film, there is an audience, they will respect that film or they will accept that movie.
Right.
So Neil and Kulna proved that I'm correct, like we are correct, our team. So it broke that thing saying how theatre in Kerala, like, so lot of people were flooding and but I didn't expect this much of overwhelming response.
Right.
I know it will recover, I won't lose any money,
Right.
but this created a history. Lot of household shows and people are like flocking to the theaters. So it's nice to see. So a lot of distributors and the the theatre owners, they were saying like it's like 80s how people came to watch Vijay Kumar Tunga or Gamini Fonseca films. Like in
Nice.
80s they were like queues and all. So it's nice to hear those kind of comments.
Yeah.
I'd like to take you back once again to this moment that this idea sparked. Now, as a question I asked Shaq actually before you came into the studio, when you got this idea, Ilango, did you research and check if medically this situation is possible?
Yes.
You did.
Yes.
You did get confirmation
Yes.
on this. Okay, so there
So
we
it
have
is
the
possible.
answer.
Yeah, there are
It's medically
possibilities.
possible.
Right.
So don't die in this way, right? But
Wouldn't it actually be the happiest way to die, though?
Exactly.
yeah, I guess it would be so, but I mean, you're causing a lot of problems for those around you to get to dispose of you in a nice way, I suppose. But I definitely want to watch this movie, not just because of this crazy story, which is so interesting, but obviously I've heard so much about your work, and Shaq has told me about the work that you guys have done together as well. So maybe like if you could tell, like there are so many people obviously who are researching about you and your past and your work with commercials and other things. Maybe like tell us, those who don't know anything, who is Ilango?
A film lover. No, I wanted to make films. That's the ultimate thing. So I studied filmmaking in USA. I studied cinematography. Then I came here and started with TV commercials because it's again you can't survive as a film director in Sri Lanka. Like you have to do something alternatively. So film is my ultimate thing. So, but I got stuck in the advertising for a long period.
Yep.
Almost like 15 years.
Wow, okay, nice.
So I did all the big brands and the best brands, and then I shifted, like then I stopped doing commercial for the last 3-4 years now.
Okay.
So I said no, enough, because then I can come out of
Absolutely.
the shell from that again. That was very comforting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I broke. I want to come out of that, and then the film thing came.
Yeah, I think that's the first risk that you've taken in your career besides this, right?
Yes.
The decision to move out of that comfort zone where you know you're going to get a steady number of paychecks. All of those advertising paychecks also get late quite often, we both know. You know it's coming, right?
No, not in my case. I'm very strict on those.
Very good. Super fantastic. But you know what I mean, right? But it's, you know that there's work, certain brands are going to do this. But
Yeah.
when you do a movie, you don't know, well, when the investors will actually come through,
yes.
how much. I'm surprised that now that you just said this, like you said your wife is your producer,
Yes.
right? So does she, how is it working with your, I mean, I don't know about Shaq, but I worked regularly with my partners on various creative projects, video to music to all of that. Never ended well, right? So, Ilango, how is it working with your wife?
What's the secret? That's what he
Please
wants.
let me know.
In our case, it ended well. No, it's understanding. It's easy actually in the way, like, because it's funny, when I wrote my script, I gave it to her, then she was like, finally on the right track.
Oh, wow.
She has read all my earlier works. They are very depressing, and sometimes she's like, why, she doesn't like most of my early scripts. Like, she always says very dark and very, don't you have anything, something, simple, and so she's very happy, and she said this is what we needed.
Right.
So it's good to work with someone who can understand, and she's a producer. She studied producing in
Right.
Korea,
Okay.
so she understands. That's the main reason how we can navigate to international markets through her, because we are very clear in our. That's why I didn't even know the budgets and the numbers and all. She knows everything about the numbers, budgeting and everything, how to sell a film and where to sell, and what do we need for a co-producing with international partners and all those things.
Right.
So my work is very simple, like shoot and give the project to her, and so it's easy in that way.
So basically, what you're trying to say is both of you know exactly what your roles are.
Yes.
And you just basically focus on those roles.
And we don't interfere. At the same time, we give like inputs, like I can suggest something, or she
Right.
can give my.
Right,
So
right.
in that way, it's, though in the same field, we travel in a different direction.
But towards the same.
So
end
towards the same goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So Ilango, now, basically the Tamil version, Perusu, did it hit theatres in India?
Yes.
Okay.
It went very well in theatres in India.
Right.
It's considered as a hit film.
Okay.
But not a big blockbuster like Nilunkulana.
Right.
And also it because in India normally a small film like this, if it crosses like a week or something, it's considered as a hit. But it was there for 4 weeks in some
Oh wow, okay.
and they released in 275 odd theatres in Tamil Nadu. That is massive, like a
Nice.
big thing, because initially we were thinking to release in 170 theatres, but because of the reach or the word of mouth, they increased another 100 theatres. So it's a hit film there, and also even in Netflix, it was
That's what I
well
want to ask
received.
you, right? Now, basically, from a producer's point of view, what are the boxes you need to tick to get your movie on Netflix? Is it like, since it's running on cinema, you just basically take it and put it, or what does Netflix look for you to have their movie?
I think the content matters in the end of the day. A good content is always welcomed by any OTT platforms.
Right.
So there are different terms and conditions. Some the OTTs, they don't like to be released in theaters because they lose their viewership.
Of course.
Some they prefer getting straight into the OTT.
Yeah.
So each platform, they look into different things. In the end of the day, if your content is strong enough, because what worked for Perusu is actually Nilunkulana, because Nilunkulana was done in 23 and it has gone to all the big festivals. Like
Right.
it has gone to Black Night Film Festival in Estonia, one of the A-list festivals.
Oh, nice.
So there's only 15 A-list festivals in the world.
Wow.
So it like Venice, Cannes, in that ranks. So this got the world premiere there, and we won the special jury award also.
Right.
So that is very big for a Sri Lankan film, because I think this is the third film to win an award at an A-list festival for a first feature.
Amazing.
Before that, Vimukti, then Prasanna Jayakodi, and after that, our film.
Right.
Fantastic.
So that created the name. Then after that, it went to Sao Paulo, one of the topmost festivals in America, South America, and then some other festivals, Africa International Film Festival. And then in Scotland, Glasgow Film Festival. Then it traveled to all the good festivals, like
Right.
Freiburg Festival in Switzerland. So that created the awareness. There's a film, because the film community is very small, and they will know, if you see the same films will travel to every
Yeah.
festivals, and they'll know what are the films in that year traveled in festivals and all.
Wow.
So I think that also a reason why Perusu was like, okay, this film has the potential for the viewers to enjoy. So those are the things. In the end of the day, the content and the standard of the filmmaking matters for any OTT content.
True.
So that's how we.
But okay, we're going to put you on the spot right now. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. Ilango, if you had to pick Perusu or Nilunkulana, which is your favorite? Now don't say if it's this criteria, it's Nilunkulana.
I'll answer that
If it's
question for you.
If it's that criteria, Perusu. What's your favorite? What's your favorite? If you had to pick one, and get rid of all traces of the other from the world, which is the movie you pick?
Nilunkulana.
Nilunkulana.
The reason is Nilunkulana, it's a pure cinema. I would call it magic, and that's my first film. Then we didn't plan anything, in the sense like, it was okay, I'm making a movie, that's my style of work. But the Perusu, we planned a lot how to entertain people, what are the jokes we can add,
Okay,
right.
people to laugh. I rewrote. It's kind of interesting how, if you see Nilunkulana and Perusu, It's more like a case study. The same thing, we made it into 2 different flavors and all. In singular version, I would say we are more of UK kind of a,
Okay.
British comedy, very subtle and less dialogues and reactions and all. There is more American, like you need a lot of dialogue base and quick cuts.
Very
and
slapstick.
Very slapstick.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's nothing like that in. So it's again, favorite is this. in the sense, Percy is not a bad one. It's
Well, it can't be 200. How many 200 cinemas? 200 plus.
and it's number one. In Sri Lanka, it was number one in Netflix for a long
long time. Yeah,
and in
yeah.
India, it was number 3 for a long period. That wasn't because number 3 in India, because we didn't give the rights to Hindi and Hindi subtitles and Hindi dubbed.
Right.
So it was only in Tamil and the South Indian languages.
Right,
Because
right.
In India, because we didn't give the Hindi dubbed rights, because they already have they're going to remake in India also.
Right. Okay.
So it's very big for Perusu to achieve that.
So Ilango, basically, the movie is still doing really well in Sri Lanka, and lots of reviews, obviously, as far as the movie is concerned. How much of a pressure does this movie actually put on you when you decide to go in for the next one?
You set the bar so high, right?
I know,
Yes,
honestly,
yes.
it's quite difficult.
Yeah, because Nilunkuluna taught me a lot of things, honestly. Like, I made Nilunkuluna without any of these things, right? I want to make a good film. Good is again very subjective. I want to make a honest film, I would say.
Right.
So Nilunkuluna came and it's creating history now. So now when I go to the theatres, I visit theatres these days. Like last few days, I was visiting all the theatres and to see people, audience reactions, and the theatre owners, they were talking, and even I talked to the people.
Right.
So what I realized is how they spend this 1 hour and 45 minutes, they were like laughing and they forgot their sorrows and problems.
Taxes that they have to pay, all of that.
Yes. So they come out like, happily, like,
Happy.
they're so happy, and they were like saying, there are a lot of people, like a lot of interesting stories I've heard, like there are like 3 generations. There was this one small town, and so Archie and his grandmother, the daughter and the granddaughter, they
The 3 of them.
Came to watch
Right,
the film.
right, right.
Another theatre, I saw this old lady. She's there after 41 years or something to watch a film.
Wow.
So, and there are theatre owners. They said the workers said like, we got bonus because of this film, and our salaries have been like increased because of this film.
Damn.
So those are the nicest thing, like I heard, like in that theatre visits.
Wow.
So it's interesting. A movie can do good in lot of ways, like because I'm happy, the viewers are like very happy. They didn't come out like in a sad way. They were so happy, and even the producers and the distributors are happy. Theatre owners are happy. So actually, it's very tough when I think of my next film, because I don't want to take again all my serious subjects.
Yeah,
Like, so then I thought, okay, though it's not about movie making, is not about what I think is correct or what I want to do is correct. It's a collective thing. It's not like a personal thing. Yeah, obviously it's a personal piece of work, but if I think like that, again, it's very selfish of me to think in that way. I have to think, okay, when I make my movie again, I want to create that people
Same
have
feeling
again.
Right.
Like it's not like I can't be saying, no, I'm going to give you a depressed film, for them to cry. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Having said, that's not the way for a director to think also. The director should be very honest with his work. So it's very, as you said, it's very tough to call or stand where I should, But again, I want to make something very simple for people can come, because that's what's missing in Sri Lankan cinema. I always see we make extreme intellectual films, or we make very bad remake of or very bad commercial films.
Right.
So luckily, Nelankulana got into the middle part. It got to the best festivals, and it has that festival standard also, and it has the commercial viability also. So the middle part is never. I want to try again,
Right.
okay, make a good film, a standard one. It will go to all the festivals, and all the best critics should write good about it, and at the same time, the people should accept in their own country. That's the ultimate thing. Though I always say that when you travel to good festivals and you win awards, it's a big thing, because in a big festival you get at least 15,000 entries. In that, they will select only 400 film. In that, some sections they will select only 30. In that, you have to win. So it's not even a 1%. It's less than that.
Wow.
That is very big. But for a filmmaker, the ultimate thing is what I'm facing now with the audience. They are coming to the theaters, so that completes the cycle of a film.
Yeah.
So
See, the thing is this, Ilango, going to watch a movie is not cheap in Sri Lanka.
it's very expensive.
It's very expensive. And for people to make that decision, right, for one person to spend something like 1,400, 1,500 rupees, right, is the cheapest ticket.
Yes, and with the family, if you go, it's like 10,000.
Exactly.
It's gone. Yeah.
And then when they come out happy, and then that 10,000 rupees that they spent was actually well spent.
Okay.
But you come out when you watch a bad movie, then you're wondering, God, it's like aparade and nasty and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So these are the things a director should have that responsibility, because you can't fool the audience anymore, and you can't make the audience suffer, like you said, because the tickets are expensive, popcorn.
Yeah.
Forget popcorn, even the bottle of water is expensive.
Yeah, everything is
So,
expensive.
we are part of involved in that. We are I have to take responsibility in those. So when a family or a person goes to the ticket, it's worth. Okay, fine. I spend this much it's enough for me.
Right.
So that is the thing I always think now.
Right.
Not like I want to make the best film or I want to make a good film. No, you make a film and it should run in the theater, because in the end of the day, it's a business.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No one
of course.
should, lose money or.
But I think it's safe to say, based on all these awards that you won and all the places it's playing, that you, Ilango, you have erected a masterpiece. Yes.
What a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
But honestly, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you so much for talking to us on this. Like we said, we'd like to leave it on a high, so to say. But you have inevitably actually put yourself in a tough situation of pulling yourself out of where you are right now, because the bar that you set is super high.
Yes.
Right? And people are going to expect something twice as big, no pun intended, right? Twice as big as Nelankulana, right? And that must actually put a lot of pressure on you.
Yes.
So it's just ridiculous, though.
But it's good, because in the end of the day, that's the ultimate thing a filmmaker needed.
Right.
Because it's nice to see how they are responding, the audience responding to the film and flocking to the theaters and houseful shows everywhere. So when I was telling you before, when they released in the first week, each and every theater like PVR, there were 21 shows, and Scope 17 or 18, then CCC, Havelock 15 shows per day. So you go to the mall at any number of time, you can see at 10 o'clock there's a show, 10:30, 10:45, 11, 11:30.
Nice.
So it's nice to see these kind of things. So it's good to take the pressure, right?
Right.
Because you don't get everything, simply.
That's true. That's true.
So, but yeah, I have to work in a smarter way to execute the second one.
Right.
It's tough, because what Nelankulana created is a magic. You can't create or
Recreate
repeat
that.
Recreate magic,
again everything. It won't be I can't create an history again and again with
That's
second
true.
film or third
That
film.
is true. That
But
is true.
I'm pretty sure I won't make the audience, disappoint.
Okay.
Is the second film now in the works, or you're not? You're not even
really.
thought of
I
it?
haven't started it, but thinking of something very a simple road film or a,
Well, this one started off as a serious idea and then turned into this.
Yeah.
Now you're saying simple, it might become the most complex one.
Could be.
Ilango-
But again, I wanted
No, sorry, go
a
on.
simple one, like,
Right, right.
because I like simple movies.
No.
Yeah, I suppose just making sure that you actually tell the message in a very simple manner where people will understand. I mean, you're not necessarily focusing on intellectual minds out there.
Yeah.
Normal people just want normal stuff that they can
So
understand.
that is what I learned from Nelinkulana.
Right.
So Nelinkulana is very unique. Yeah, it's because the intellectuals enjoying Nelinkulana as much as like the normal people. I don't. Again, it's very subjective. I don't like to generalize intellectuals or normal.
right.
They're all
Yeah.
same. It's my
yeah.
personal
Absolutely.
thing. What the critics they like about the political layers and everything. General audience like the simple comedy. So it's nice to have that blend.
Balance.
It's very unique to have that fact also. Like in
Right.
a film, like you make, so you have everything covered.
Right.
It's very rare and very unique.
Fabulous. Ilango, thank you so much for coming in, and actually both of us are really looking forward to actually watching Nilum Kulana. We haven't seen that, but that's something that we'll definitely go for it. There you go, Ilango Ram in the studio, of course, the writer and the producer, the director.
No.
Actually, the director.
Not
The
the
Director,
producer.
producer
Writer,
is back
the
at
director.
home.
Yeah, shouldn't basically steal the
Watching.
limelight from the
Sorry,
wife.
producer.
But if you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. It is a blockbuster. It's one of the biggest movies that has actually come out in Sri Lanka after a very, very long time. It's called Nelum Kulana. The movie's done so very well. There are lots of production houses around the world going around basically bidding to make sure that they get a hold of that script to start producing the same movie in their language in different countries. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, and we're going to come back right after this break. Ilango, thank you so much, and looking forward for your next movie.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be.
Yeah, it's a cool chat, huh?
Yes.
Casual chat, not serious like the ones that you go for.
Like your movie, like
your
your
movie.
little bit like
Very
your
simple
And effective.
and effective. All right, guys, taking a break. We'll be back right after this. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are done with another show right here on GNSL. Thank you very much, Azlan, for sitting in for both Andy and
Can you two please come next time, huh?
Andy
This is
and Christian.
nonsense. Yes.
But it's one of those rare moments. But
Yeah, it's true.
but I must say that we have actually found an able folly in you that we can actually fall back on. And if either one of
Yes,
us.
that's my life goal, to be a fallback.
Yeah. We know. I mean, you've got the body composure to fall back on. It's cushioned all over. You know
Look
that
at what
when
I go through.
You know when we fall back, it's not going to hurt us.
Yes. Look at what I go through. 7 years with this man, in this company.
7 years in the company, about 25 years together.
Yeah, before that, yes, absolutely.
Anyway, thank you so much, guys. We are done and dusted with the show.
No, we are the
Hopefully-
followers.
We got. My God, we got. How many followers do we have?
Wait for the zoom out, dramatic zoom out, zoom out.
Wow.
2,892 followers. Well done,
2,000,
guys.
well done.
Well
Thank
done, Chris. Well done, Andy, and well done, Shaq.
Thank you very much,
guys.
2,892 followers. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for following us and, of course, making sure that you're part and parcel of all those little clips that we have on GNSL.
But please comment. But please do comment, guys. I mean, if you want to share, do share. But please comment and give us your opinion, because this show is all about everyone's just candid opinions here, and we really value your candid opinions. So on all these, on TikTok, on Instagram, definitely share your comments and tell them. I mean, if you want to set the record straight with Shaq or Andy or Chris,
By all means.
go ahead.
Thank you very much. We shall catch up with you once again next Friday, 7 o'clock, right here on PodHub Facebook and also on our YouTube channel. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you so much for all those comments and all those shares and all those likes on Instagram page, on Facebook page, and also on YouTube. Till we speak to you next Friday, hopefully with the two of them on the show. Have yourself a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, Sri Lanka.
Good night.